my dance, make it hurt.
Episode of Fill in the Blank. I am your host, Phil Austin. This is my friend, colleague, cohort, Jenn Frank. She has joined us as my first interviewee, and I'm excited to have her here. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in, and we're excited to have you.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks for having Bat Nut over. That was fun.
Absolutely. She's a sweetheart. I don't know where she gets that from. So, as you know, okay, check. All right. So, Jenn and I are cohorts. We work together at a local emergency department. We are both RNs, and we work together, and we have a good banter. We have good conversations at work, so I figured she would be a great asset to have on the show as the first interviewee. Plus, I promised her that she would be the first person to be on the show, so here we are. So again, both RNs, we work in the medical field industry, both work in the emergency department. So tell us, Jenn, how did you get into nursing, into the medical profession?
A little while ago.
Okay.
Trying to think. Why did I get into it?
Yeah. Why did you get into the nursing profession?
So money.
Money. Okay. Money is always good. What inspired you to get into the nursing profession?
You know, it's not a good story.
Okay.
So one of my older sisters, 3 older sisters, as we talked about, having older siblings that are all girls. But my one sister, her firstborn son passed away of cancer. So I saw her be highly affected by the amazing nurses at CHOP. And I was like, man, I'd love to be like an impact like that, but not in the pediatric field.
So at what age did you decide, how old were you when you decided to change careers, I guess?
Yeah, so I was probably about 29, just before 30.
So that was a year ago?
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago. Roughly.
Okay, so it was a while back ago that you'd made this decision, but you had not had any interest in the nursing field prior to that?
No, I mean, like I worked in a nursing home, I did phlebotomy, but it wasn't like I wanted to really dive into nursing, no.
So you were in healthcare prior to being a nurse?
Briefly. Not long.
But
a couple years.
Okay. So going farther back when you were, let's say, graduating high school, what were you involved with? What were you going to? Did you go to college right after high school?
So, I mean, I went to like Penn State, York, took a couple classes, but I worked in district attorney's office, so that was like, I wanted to be an attorney. That was my goal.
Wanted to be an attorney. So even like graduating high school, you were
that's what I was
set on being an attorney, like a paralegal or?
No. I mean, obviously starting out, but.
Putting them in slammers?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Or defending those
who have
innocent. Allegedly.
Bent the law slightly.
You know, little stains.
Nothing crazy. So you wanted to be a lawyer. That's good. Okay, so talk me through that. What happened? How did that transpire? Did you take classes? How did that go?
I mean, I did paralegal classes, like 2 years of that. But yeah, when you're around it, not so pretty.
What was the biggest challenge that made you get out? What was the challenges that you saw that changed your mind?
Money.
There's no money in law?
Not as a paralegal.
Not as a paralegal. But you wanted to defend those, so obviously there's money in defense attorneys.
I mean, you get to see the scum of the scum, so it kind of makes it hard to be around that very long. So then you go and be a nurse, and then you have to wipe that scum's butt.
That's true. You do.
A little different avenue.
That's not my favorite part of the job, by any means. So you found it difficult to be in the.
Well, I mean, there were certain cases that I was involved in, and I was like, I can't be around this. Like, I couldn't see myself defending someone that's so heinous.
Okay. So then what happened? Where did you go from there?
So, I mean, I didn't just go right from there to nursing school. Violet's dad had his own business, so, I mean, I worked with him and would kind of go to school part-time, and then I was ready to dive into clinicals, and I got like a year in, and then I got pregnant, and I was like, baby.
Okay, so you got pregnant, is basically what you're saying.
During nursing school, so I took a break.
Okay.
For a year.
I just want to make sure. Perfect. Okay. All right. You gotta give me more. You gotta give me a little bit more.
More what?
When I'm asking questions, just try to give me a little bit more. I'm getting
Well,
like one answer. I'm
It's
getting
because
like.
I'm a private person.
Oh,
That's
hold on
okay.
a second.
You even said, like, well, I didn't know you taught yoga. I don't know anything about you.
I don't. I don't. Okay. The Pandora's box is opening. Okay.
Oh, boy. Do you burp?
I did. I did.
All right, I'll stop. Sorry. I'll try.
All right. I just want to make sure we pick up. So you had a baby, or you got pregnant, and you were then transitioning into the healthcare industry at that point, or did you have something else, some other interests that what did you do for work? Like what? Where did you go from there?
I didn't work.
You didn't work when you were pregnant.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I worked part-time. Again, it was for, Violet's dad's business. He had a partner in business, so
Gotcha.
it was just some clerical work. nothing
Clerical
crazy.
work.
Yeah.
Okay. So before the broadcast, you told me that you had your own yoga studio, yoga business. I've had my own business before. Actually, I managed one business, and then I was my own business owner, proprietor, entrepreneur. Prior to all that, so I've been a business owner myself. So I didn't know that we shared that in common. That's kind of nice. But anyway, I am interested. So, I mean, I've had my failures in business. It's very tough. When I had my business, I say that I was working 80 hours a week, roughly, making squat money. Well, it wasn't really making money. I mean, the bills were paid, my employees were paid, the rent was paid, but, when it comes down to it, you want to be in business for yourself to be making money.
Right.
And that was not
Now, what did you do?
happening. Well, I had my own eBay store. I owned eBay. No, I had my own eBay business
Where your
where
little tent is?
I don't know what that means.
In your basement, your little tent.
Yes, yeah, in my little tent. Okay. So I had my own eBay business where I sold things on eBay for people. So if you had to sell your...
But you had a storefront where they come in.
Yes, correct.
Like the 40-year-old virgin.
Yes, that's what everybody relates it to, like the 40-year-old virgin. Like, but I really want to buy these. He's holding up the silver boots. You can't buy them. You have to buy them on eBay.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was. So, yeah, but I had a storefront and had rent, had bills, and but I was working a lot, and everybody was making money. I was not bringing home, and I had my responsibilities of kids, so I had to make a decision. At that point, go, okay, do I want to continue this? Can I see this prospering to a bigger adventure? Can I see this growing? All sorts. And at the end of the day, I just said, you know what, this is really tough, and I'm gonna have to close my doors.
So
Which I'm not proud of it, but
what?
I mean,
You tried.
I did. I tried, and that's what it's all about. I mean, I put it out there and gave it everything I got. I have some things I want to blame for it, but at the end of the day, I'm much happier where I am. I'm very grateful for what I'm doing.
Yeah. Get to work with me.
But so I do understand there are you wear a lot of hats. When I had my own business, you want to talk to the marketing guy? Oh yeah, that's me. Oh, you want to talk to the groundskeeper? Yeah, that's me. You want to talk to maintenance? That's me. Oh, HR? Yeah, that's me.
All of it.
I did all of it. The accounting, you wear 15, 17 hats when I literally was a one-man show. I did have a couple employees that helped me, but I literally was a one-man show as far as a business is concerned, with the storefront. So I get it. It is tough.
Yeah, it sucked.
So,
It sucked to fail.
It does. It was, and I want to say I failed. I made the conscious decision to actually close. I could have kept it going, but how long it would have taken for me to really I don't know, get to a
Right.
successful point where I felt comfortable. I don't, I could still be in that. And I
Yeah.
think with COVID as well, I think COVID really, if I look back and go, hey, if my business was running and then I had to close up or run, differently,
Yeah.
it would really have hurt the business overall. And I don't think I would have been able to stay open
Oh yeah.
with
No.
COVID. So, so there's that. So I'm kind of grateful that I got out of it. With COVID now happening, I didn't
And you
have
still
to face
dabble
it. Yeah, I do. Not so much as like 40-year-old virgin, but I do dabble in it. But
Well,
talk to me about the yoga studio. Like,
yeah. So
talk to me
it's
about as what gave you the idea to do that. What influenced you? What inspired you to start that studio?
So it all started being a runner.
Really?
Yep. I
Okay.
used to run, and then my knees just couldn't take it anymore.
Okay.
So someone suggested you should get into yoga. You should try yoga. Help stretching, blah blah blah. Help with running. There's all kinds of crap out there like yoga for golfers, yoga for runners, yoga for this, that, and the other, right? So I was like, okay, I'll totally do that. I'll try it. So then I started going to Bikram yoga, hot yoga over in Lancaster, and that's like 2003.
Okay.
So I was going religiously every day. I was into it. I liked it. Saw good results, and I didn't really run as much. I'd walk or whatever, but I was like, I really like this.
I've never really done yoga. I've seen it on TV.
I've seen it before.
I've seen it before. That's about as far as I get with the yoga. But I don't know the benefits of it. I've actually said I think I need to start more because I need to do more stretching that will help.
Stretching alone.
Yeah, the stretching alone will help. And plus just toning up different muscles. But
Yeah, a lot of benefits.
what got you into running though? Were you a runner or beforehand?
No, not unless I was being chased. No,
That's what everybody tells me.
I would not be.
I ain't running unless something's chasing me.
No, I think it was just overall fitness and health. It just was early 20s, gained
Just
15
something
pounds, and I
to-
was like, fuck this, I gotta do something.
Just something to kind of keep in shape.
Yeah,
So you really had no
Pretty much.
motivation to run.
I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it.
You ran marathons though?
No,
Half marathons?
No, I
Half.
never did a marathon.
What did you get out of running a half marathon?
Nothing. I was bored as fuck. I was like, this shit's boring. What? I can't do this. I would have my usual loop of 7-8 miles, and I would do it every day. And I
Yeah.
was doing that. I was just like, psh.
So there was no.
Boring.
So, okay. That's not everybody gets the same thing out of it.
And this is when what do I hold my Discman? Am I gonna do
Right. That is true.
the same CD? No, I didn't have anything to I was just
You were just running, bored.
right.
Okay.
It was boring.
So then but that motivated you to kind of on the same health kick to get into.
Yeah, so it's
the
more
yoga.
running injuries, yoga.
Yoga. Oh, I'm sorry. Running injuries got you into the yoga.
Yeah, so having injuries with running made me kind of gravitate towards yoga because people mentioned it. You should try that. So I was like, okay.
So, how did you start the business?
So 2004, I went to 2 trainings in Florida.
Okay.
So I was down there for 8 weeks in.
They trained you how to be a yoga instructor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was all day, every day. It was like boot camp, and it's hot yoga. So the room's 100 and some degrees. We were up at 6 in the morning outside. It's summertime in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Yummy.
Not
Sticky.
good.
Hot
Nasty.
yoga.
Living out of a hotel that was holiday inn.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Nice.
Had to walk everywhere. Awesome.
Okay.
But yeah, so when you said about, hearing your voice, we would have to be, everyone would have to hear. And I'm in a room with hundreds of people.
Right.
And I was like, ooh, I don't think they want to hear my voice.
So you did.
I don't think
so
I want
you
to hear
were.
my voice.
So you were a little scared of getting up and talking. Is that? Or you're saying for the yoga studio that was what intimidating to you?
A little bit, hearing my voice. It's not so much speaking in front of people, but when you hear it come back,
I do.
So it's a little
It's
off-putting.
weird.
Yeah.
Kind of insecurity.
Yeah, I was 20-some years ago.
Right.
So
Yeah, I get
care
it.
less now.
Don't care what you say.
Don't care.
Point proven. So you started the business. How did that get off the
I did.
ground?
I came back with my training. This is over at Queensgate.
Okay.
So where Wise is and everything. So there's this yoga studio there now where mine was.
Okay.
So it was a bank back in the day before I took it over. And so there was like a counter, something like this where tellers probably were. And there was that dye that they must put in bags with money.
Oh, yeah.
So there was just dye everywhere, like this crazy electric blue dye everywhere.
Like
and,
it exploded?
Yeah, so there was just like random stuff left behind this bank. It was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
So it was an old bank, so there's some...
I wonder if like the people that were leaving the bank when they were closing the doors are like, let's just set this shit off. Let's just...
I mean, that's what it appeared, because I'm like, it's not like... There's no like printout of a dollar bill or anything,
Right.
It's just like the
It
ink
just
shit's
exploded.
everywhere.
And it just exploded.
And they were just like, like shaking it all around, making a huge mess.
They had a ink party or something.
They did. So I mean, this room itself was just like a giant like hallway, wide.
Mm-hmm.
So someone came in, they built a wall for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had a person come that I luckily through the yoga training met. He came up from DC with a big gas heater. So I didn't have to use electric. It was cheaper. It was able to pump out heat, like warm it up in there. And obviously it's a shopping strip, so rent was high. So at first, hot yoga,
I know.
hot yoga comes out, people ran into
Those strip malls, they get you.
They did.
They get you
They
bad.
got me. I was a sucker. I had the big old sucker right on here. Sucker.
I get it.
So opened it up, and a lot of people like generated and were into it at first, but like anything, money, they didn't they weren't dedicated, they weren't into it.
It's hard to get
Kinda
people
like
motivated
trickle.
to stay. Yeah, I mean, you gotta wanna do it.
Right, and it wasn't that popular. Like there wasn't one anywhere in York. So.
And I find that York is yoga is worldwide, but I find that York is a little. Maybe it was too early for York to kind of have yoga.
Yeah,
do you think?
I mean, because even
York,
after that, like. There's a local gym that we ended up doing some hot yoga classes that like opened up a room to us that we could heat up and do it after my epic failure.
So that's a good question though. Like, so what drove you to do your own standalone brick and mortar versus?
Well, I wasn't really like the Bikram yoga was. It's just very the same 26. It doesn't really branch out. So I want to do something.
So is Bikram yoga a franchise? Is that what you brought into?
No, I didn't. No. I'm just saying that's where I first took like a type of hot yoga.
Gotcha.
Like a style.
Gotcha.
So I just didn't want to do that. Like you could go to a Bikram yoga training out in LA and spend a couple months out there and do that. But I want to just do, variations, not just be so rigid. So I went somewhere where they taught different styles and different variations of whether it's vinyasa flowing or a little more basic hatha and keep it simple.
I have no idea what that means, but
That's okay.
I'm gonna go with it.
That's all right.
That's fine.
It was more like just getting out of that routine. I wanted to feel. And I actually, when I first opened it, this girl she was also interested in like, oh, I'll teach a class. And then, that bitch backed out. So then, next thing you know, I'm doing 3-4 classes a day teaching. And
Right.
And I was just like, get out of here. So then I actually wasn't even doing yoga.
You weren't getting anything out of it.
No.
Yeah.
Just more broke.
Yeah. Everybody's got their hand out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you decided to close the business.
I did.
What were some of the takeaways for you what were some of the takeaways that you felt that kind of helped launch you into the future? Like what did you take away from that?
I mean, I'm glad I tried.
Right.
Or I'd never know. So
Right.
I'd just be wondering, like, what if I tried that? And failure sounds so negative, but it's all opportunities to learn. What do I take forward with it? And,
Well, you definitely appreciate working for somebody. That's the one thing.
yes, I do.
You do appreciate kind of working for once you've kind of taken that step onto, and you take that step onto the other side of the table, I say, I've sat on the other side of the table as management, as, entrepreneur, and I know what I want out of my employees. So I do now try to reflect that work at what I want out of an employee as an employee, which is one of the big takeaways that I took away from it. Plus the work ethic. I mean, once you're wearing, you're working 80 hours a week, you're wearing 16, 17 hats, like I said earlier, and then you go to a job where you have to work for somebody, it's going to pay you twice as much that you were making as a business owner. You have to work half the hours, you have a quarter of the stress to worry about.
Sounds amazing.
You go, wow, what was I doing? What drove me to think that I could do? But that's like you said.
But now you're a better employee because
absolutely.
you did.
Yeah, I take that same work ethic to where I'm at now, but like I said, I have a quarter the stress, so I love it. Love
Yeah.
There's always a paycheck. That's the other
3
nice
days
thing.
a week.
Yeah.
So much better.
So you did the yoga thing, and then what? Obviously, you made the decision to close. You weren't having the success there.
So I went back to the criminal justice.
You went back to criminal justice.
So I started in the DA's office, did the yoga thing, and then I went back to I did PD's office, public defender's office.
Okay.
So, same kind of work.
The same work you were doing before. Okay. Okay. What was the most interesting case you worked on as a?
I can't tell you that.
Okay. what was the most interesting to you though? You can give some specifics, right? No, like his name was Pablo Escobar. No. Okay. All right. We'll scratch that part.
I don't want to get.
We'll cut that out.
Yeah, cut that out.
All right.
Cut it out.
Okay. All right. So you got into nursing, the nursing field. What was the one thing you wish you had known going into nursing when you began your career that you now know? Like, what do you think would have been?
I think it would have been helpful if I was, like a tech prior to. I wasn't anything like that. So I wish I would have had a little more hospital exposure.
So you basically went from yoga instructor, had a little bit of clinical care.
Yeah, I did phlebotomy. But I mean, that was just going in the room, getting blood work. Again, that was in my early 20s, so I didn't have any of that experience, the EKGs, just things I never,
Right.
didn't have to, wasn't exposed to it. So I think that would have, it's funny 'cause going to school with like LPNs, doing the bridge program to RN, you notice that, not that they struggle, but because they have ingrained in their mind their practice already, I found that like sometimes the instructors were a little harsher with them.
The RN instructors?
Yeah.
With the LPNs?
I did.
To
I
kind
felt
of get
like
them
they're to get them out of that mindset that they're already in, which I understand what they're doing, but I felt like sometimes I was like, you're kind of coming down on them a little bit. Be a little nicer. So I wish I would have had exposure. The LPNs, I feel like they already know so much.
Right. They do.
So
They
I
have a
mean,
lot of
they're
knowledge.
a great resource as a nursing student for me, anyways. But I wish I would have been like a tech or just had some sort of clinical experience because I didn't. Made it hard.
Okay.
Would have been nicer. What do you have on these cards? Oh, boy.
So we're gonna take it back even farther real quick. So what was when you were younger? I'm looking at my cards.
Oh, okay.
When you were younger, what was a dream or a vision that you had or a goal that you had when you were younger that you thought you'd one day aspire to?
I mean, it goes back to like being an attorney. I always wanted to do that. I watched all those crazy shows growing up, things that my parents didn't know I was watching.
Oh, what was who was the one lawyer?
Or a stand-up comedian. That was another one.
Really? No.
What do you mean?
Are you serious?
Yes, I
You
love.
want to do stand up?
Oh, like Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor. I watched all that
Oh,
stuff.
of course.
Joan Rivers, loved her.
Did you actually ever dabble with that at all? Like, did you actually try to do it, or this was just?
Oh no,
It was just a dream.
I'm not actually funny. Those people are amazing.
Of course.
But oh no, I thought that would be like the best job ever.
That's interesting. I have a friend that is going to be coming on the show that he's agreed to come on the show here and as an interviewee soon, and he's done comic. Oh, he is a comedian. He's been doing it for like 20 years, and he's in New York City. He's a great guy, and I'm excited to have him on the show. But I think that honestly, a comedian, like being a stand-up comic, is probably one of the hardest jobs in the world because you have to make people laugh. Now I'm sure you have a few, tricks in your bag,
Oh, sure.
but that joke may not work for that
Right.
certain audience. So
And you gotta keep it moving.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work,
yeah, if it
if
doesn't
they don't
work.
laugh, you gotta just be like, okay,
I know.
next. Move
And
it,
I
move it.
think if I bombed like one time, like that would be it.
I know I'd be like, wah, wah,
Yeah,
wah.
where people are just heckling you and booing you off the stage.
And then
you're
I'd be like, well, your mom. Like I'd just be like a whole. It'd just be like going at them.
I've seen that actually when I lived in LA and I worked in Hollywood.
Of course.
I worked on a show called "I Hate My Job." That was the name of the show. It was on. I think it was on Spike TV. I never got a chance to watch it, but it was on Spike TV. I think it was Spike TV. Is Spike TV even around anymore?
I mean, it's on my sling.
Oh, is it? Okay, so it is still around. I don't get it. But the premise was obviously that we got like 4 contestants from the show, and the one guy was a lawyer. He was a lawyer. I don't remember where he was practicing at, and he wanted to be a stand-up comic, and we got him hooked up with all sorts of like gigs and stuff. But he literally had to go into these, not high profile, but we went into like the Improv. We went into the one that
So he's never done it before, and he has to go.
He had dabbled a little bit, but he was a lawyer and wanted to be a stand-up comic. So like making 6 figures to making like $6.
Yeah. Negative.
But he was a stand-up. He wanted to be a stand-up comic, and I watched him. And we were the production crew following him, and we went into this one in like the south side of LA, which is like South Central, Watts, that kind of area.
Yeah.
So, and he was white, so that can kind of paint a picture for you how that went down. And it was, I didn't think we were going to make it out of there, like with all of our anything. But
how'd he do?
He did okay. He didn't make it anywhere, but he did okay. He
takes balls to do it.
He actually ended up, the end of the show, he actually ended up doing a stand-up with, I think his name is George Wallace. I think he's a big comedian. I think that's what it is, George. He had a show at the Flamingo in the Flamingo Casino in Vegas, or the Tropicana. I think it was the Flamingo. But, and he got to open before George Wallace came out and did his routine. And I had heard the routine a dozen times before from him doing his routine at different clubs. And it actually was kind of funny when you actually had a crowd. Like, he had actually kind of tightened it up a little bit, so where it was actually funny. But the same jokes that he used at these lower end comedy clubs, they kind of went over okay. But when he got on the main stage, or for that it was a big audience. We had a pretty big audience. I was actually laughing at the jokes that I've heard for so.
So his delivery changed.
Delivery changed. He was able to work the crowd, and he was able to. He just made it work. He made it work. Which was good, but he didn't make it out from there. He didn't win the show, and he got really pissed off at the end. It was really funny. That was funny.
Well, he still has a job.
Yeah, and I think he did go end up back being a lawyer.
Well,
so
grass isn't always greener.
And actually, it was actually funny. Part of the show, him and one of the other contestants went out. Now they were supposed to be on lockdown. They weren't supposed to really leave or go out and do much. At this house that we were filming at.
Okay.
Yeah, he was supposed to be, somewhat confined and be focusing on his craft that he's doing. And him and his buddy went out and they went to a club and he got in a fight because he got punched in the eye and he had like this huge black eye. So the show had to like incorporate like, hey, yesterday you were fine, you were working on your craft, now you show up on camera and you had this huge black eye from getting punched in the face.
Hey, Tyson.
Yeah. And I think they ended up editing out the whole, like he went like a week and we ended up cutting it. It healed up pretty quick, but we had to, they didn't show it. They didn't roll with it. It was pretty cut.
Maybe he was testing out his jokes.
Yeah, he did. He tested his joke out on some guy, and the guy turned around. It didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. He turned around and smacked him. So you talked about who was one of the, so going back to the law stuff, who was one of the people that stood out for you as a lawyer? Like, who did you admire? Was there, like, even if it was a fictional person, like from a movie? Like, if I had to say I was going to be a lawyer based, I think it would be on Matthew McConaughey's characters from, what was that movie called? Yeah, the Matthew McConaughey movie.
All right.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that'll work. I don't know. I forget the movie. Yeah, but he played a lawyer and he was really good in it.
Would you ever see Primal Fear?
I don't think
Edward Norton.
Ed Norton.
Richard Gere.
No.
Ed Norton, like, murders a bishop. and he acts like his, double personality. It's a good movie.
Is that
I'm
you?
like, no, but Richard Gere plays an attorney
Okay.
that gets duped by
I
his
want to say
own
that I
client.
did, but I
He
don't.
gets duped by him. Like, he thought that he actually had split personality, and at the end he's like,
He's like just playing you fool.
yep,
Gotcha.
fuck with you. But no, I don't really look up to people.
You don't.
Never did. They always disappoint you sometimes. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's I don't know.
So, okay. All right. So going back to the lost. Oh, not the cards.
Oh, all right.
Stop cheating.
Well, your handwriting's really bad. I can't really read it.
What are you talking about? That's really good handwriting. All right. And action. So you talked about you back when you were younger that you wanted to be a lawyer. So now that you are where you are and looking back, let's say to 18-year-old you before you made all these challenges, like what would you tell yourself? What do you think you would say to yourself now, going back, all this stuff?
I definitely would have went to college 4 years, and I would have preferred to have done the nursing thing right off the bat, and not been so in my head, not sure where to go. And sometimes, that's all right if you don't know where to go, but at least start and get the gen eds done and get it moving. Because, yeah, instead I worked 2 jobs and struggled and struggled. So, would have been nicer not to have struggled so much.
So you have a daughter. She's 11 now, right? Is that going to be the route that you're going to encourage her to, or are you going to kind of allow her to make her own decisions when she gets that, or?
No, she's not making her own decisions. Clearly.
She's not capable of doing that.
Ever. No, you see how she's dressed. You see I let her make decisions and what happens. It's like she's going to a funeral. Why is she wearing all the black and dark colors?
She looked like she was relaxed.
She's relaxed already. Very coffin-esque. Very cute look. Well, no, she's gonna. I think a lot of things have changed as far as we're close in age.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm older and wiser, but we were pushed into going to college, which is probably why I resisted some. But now I feel like people are realizing we don't want to lose people in the trades. We want to keep those people going.
Right.
We need them.
Right.
So I think it's just keep the door open and wherever her interest falls.
Yeah.
She wants to be a dentist. She's been saying it for years.
Oh, that's cool.
And she wants to have a bakery beside it. So if they have a good, clean bill of health, they can go and get a free cookie.
Yeah, if they have no cavities, they can go get cookies and sugar.
And I'll see you in 6 months.
That's good. That's repeat customer service
That's
right there.
right.
You know what I'm saying? That's
no dum-dum.
Nah, nothing wrong with that. So that's a great point that you bring up, because I used to say this a lot, and it actually kind of came back to me when I started doing this podcast. When we were younger, growing up, our generation, they in schools, at least this was my perspective, that they always told us, you can do anything you want, you can be what you want to be, hey, you want to be president of the United States, you can do it. And you're like, wow, yeah, hey, I love that. I don't know why I just made my voice sound like that, but that's me at 7, I think, or 37. Yeah. But the one thing, that they did, and again, this might have been just where I was from, or the education system in Las Vegas, I don't know. But I feel like it was kind of our generation. They told us that you could kind of be anything, but they left it at that. They just said, let your dreams and your visions just kind of go where it needs to. And, then life kind of takes over and you go, I wanted to be the president. I gotta pay. Why do I have to pay these bills? Why? How do I go to the DMV? How do I balance a checkbook? I feel like there was a lot, there was no, and this is still to this day, and again, this is probably what your parents should teach you, but I feel like there was no emphasis on the work ethic that it takes to accomplish those kind of things. They should say, yeah, it's going to be, you can be whatever you want to be, but this is what it's going to take to get there. And I feel like that was kind of lacking, maybe, in our generation, at least on the way, my perspective.
I feel like it's after a generation. My parents worked, if not 1 job, 2 jobs.
Right.
They didn't call off. They were not those people.
Right.
So I definitely saw good work ethic.
Right. I think the work ethic was there, and maybe that's again just maybe with
I
all.
think it was
of
a
the,
given. We didn't
Yeah.
talk about it. It was just
Right.
like, do you see me do this? No, then
Right.
you don't do it, and that's just it.
Yeah, I just feel like that there was a lot of painted pictures for us, but there was no substance
Rainbows.
behind you. Like, I mean, if you look at our parents and our grandparents, like the luxuries that we live in now, I feel like what they went through, it's just like, no, this is work.
Yeah.
This is what surviving. Yeah, this is what we do every day. This is
Right.
how we get by. This is you want the lights to stay on. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
what it's going to take.
Suck it up.
There's no, it's like, oh, well, there's if you don't succeed, you can have a fallback program. No, I mean, this is what it takes.
Right.
This is what but that's just the way that I see generations
Yeah.
today. So that's why, and I've talked about this in a previous podcast, and I try to emphasize this to younger generations, people that are younger from us in all walks of life. I just say, hey, listen, what I try to teach my kids as well. I say, no matter what you want to do in life, it doesn't matter what category, what field it's in, what career it is, if it's a trade, if it's a 4-year program, it's an 8-year program.
Yeah.
No matter how many degrees or letters you have, realize that it's going to take hard work to be successful. You're going to have to put in hours. You're going to have to take sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice the things that you want to do. So, and I always pop quiz them every once in a while. I'm always like, so what does it take?
Your children, you do this too?
I do this. I pop quiz my kids. I'm like, so what does it take
so
to be
ignorant.
successful? And they're like, work. I'm like, yeah, no, it's hard. It's going to
You
take
forgot a word.
Yeah, there's hard work involved with that.
Go back
It's
to your room.
sacrifice. So at least I'm just kind of planting seeds and let them know, like when they hit 18 and they go out, I'm like, Dad, can I have some money? Remember that time at 9 years old when I was telling you, what it's going to take to be successful? It's going to take the sacrifice. What are you, anyway, we'll save
We'll
that.
ask them to spell it and define it and use it in a sentence.
Oh,
You
that's
can't
good.
just be like throwing words at them. It's memory.
It is.
This is the word he wants me to say. Now do I get my treat?
No. You're not going to get your treat. No.
Well, that's too bad.
Okay. All right. So here we go. We're going to change it up here a little bit. Next question I have for you, and I'm not reading cards, by the way. If you could have a billboard, your own personal billboard on a major side of the road, okay, with anything on it, what would it be?
Like it could be any person, it could be any destination.
Any message.
Any message. So
Any
it's
message.
a message.
Yeah. Like if you could be an advertising, or you could just saying, here's a picture of me.
Picture of me.
Hopefully it's, appropriate.
Oh, that'd be appropriate. Probably be more simple. Just like be kind. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Like everyone's so. I mean, obviously we have young kids, so I'm always like, did I hear you say something negative about somebody? Do you even know that child? Why are you talking like? My daughter's very sarcastic. I don't know why, but
I don't either.
I remember in school recently, she was like, "Oh, this kid, blah blah. He's always getting in trouble." And I was like, "All right, well, don't worry about what he's doing." She's like, "Yeah, but I was like, well, maybe if you would shut up, you wouldn't get in trouble." And I was like, "Well, maybe you should shut up, and you're gonna
Did
get."
she really say that?
Yes, and I was like, "Why did you?" Well, then I got in trouble. I was like, "Because you need to shut up.
Yeah.
Like, shut your mouth, mind your business, stay in your lane." Like,
Stay in your lane.
so be kind to each other. Everyone's too busy being all pissed off.
That's true.
So
Do you think that message would attract people to be more kind if it just said be kind?
well, maybe I'll put like a girl with like big boobs on it.
Oh, okay.
And be like, be
kind.
kind.
I think it would be a mixed message of somehow. I'd be like, be kind, boobs. Boobs, be kind.
But would you look at it?
I, in passing, yes.
Yeah, so everyone will at least look. If you just had the words with like, oh, a bumblebee, and it said, kind, no one's going to give a rat's ass. Put a beer and big boobs up there, be kind.
A beer and a burger, be kind with a beer and a burger. I think that message
That's
could go
going to
over.
probably
Yeah,
be
yeah.
recognized, and then people will be like, well done.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, once I eat a burger and have a beer, I think I could be more kind to people.
I think so too.
I think that would work.
Some boobs on the side. What did I walk into your house seeing on the TV?
It was
And your wife's like, oh, what are we watching? I was like, what are you watching?
that I don't know what was on my television. I think it was sports.
Okay. Wow.
So now we're in 2021. we're not going to talk about New Year's resolutions unless you made one and it's an interesting one.
I don't do that shit.
Okay. So you are a nurse in the emergency department. You've picked up a charge. You've actually been doing some more supervisory roles with the company. What are your, not just in work, but like what are your goals for the future? Like what kind of goals do you have set for yourself in the future?
Well, I don't have my BSN, so I need to get that done.
Okay.
And
Are you working on that? Yeah, okay.
No, like they have my transcript. I've already paid for like the whole process of, but now that I'm at that point where I have to do my new taxes to do this whole student loan process, I was like, ugh. Now they're like, well, when are you going to do your new taxes? So I'm like, oh my gosh. So they didn't want to use my old ones. They want to use my new ones. So that takes like 2 days.
Getting the BSN is a goal.
Oh yeah.
And then what?
Nurse practitioner is in my scope. I'm looking at it.
What else is in the scope? Is that
Vacation.
it? Right. That's not a goal though.
Yeah, it is. When you don't have it gone on one and you...
True. That's. I guess it's a goal. It is a goal.
It's a goal. I mean, any big purchase, any big spending, you work for it.
True.
So
True.
Saving money for it is a goal.
But beginning, you have to have motivation to get your BSN. So what's obviously you're not going to be getting any kind of pay increase through the position that we're in currently. No. And then that's unfortunate. They're making a lot of the nurses get BSNs that don't have them.
Right.
And then
I mean, there's nurses that we work with 25 years and they don't have a BSN. They're smarter than any person that steps out.
Correct.
So I mean.
Correct. And they're not. So there's no monetary incentive to achieve the BSN. So there has to. So what in your eyes, or what drives you to obtain the BSN?
Well, it's gonna be a state law.
What?
Brace yourself.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
When did they announce this? Oh, hold on a second.
Pizza.
Oh yeah, maybe it's pizza.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pizza, or it's. Oh yeah, she's writing. Okay.
Oh, she's writing. Do you allow her to do such a thing? You allow her to write.
All right, so we get about 40 minutes. So I got a couple more questions. We're gonna edit all this out.
Oh, I'm sure. Sorry.
These ones are blank. Here, you can hang on to those.
Okay, cool. I use these a lot.
I think I'm missing one. I feel like I wrote more. 1,
2, 3, 4.
3,
4.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I thought I had 10.
Let me take a picture of your picture.
All right.
Are you throwing them back on the floor?
I am. I'm done with my cards.
Oh.
I think you can read them now. All right. So going back.
We're always going back.
I know.
Why?
I like to go back to stuff.
Okay.
It's like a dog returning to its vomit. That's
Gross.
I know. So you want to get your BSN?
I do. I'm not gonna have a choice here soon.
You were, because it's going to be a state law.
Well, it's also like a UPMC.
So it's going to be a state law.
A lot of hospitals are going to be requiring it like sooner than later, and then the state, like, my understanding is even if you do graduate from an associate degree program, it's going to be like
it's going to be kind of harder on the.
It's going to be the BS. Well, places like the community colleges are going to probably have to revamp their programming and make it a BSN program. That's what they're going to have to do.
Which is interesting. I think you have to be a 4-year school. I don't know how that works. I'm just making stuff up. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I have no idea. But
But if you're cycling through the summers, you're picking up those extra months that are equivalent to a semester. I don't know.
But a lot of the places that only offer a 2-year program, either like you said, are gonna have to revamp it, or they're not gonna be attractive at all. You can't go.
And a lot of these.
Is that state? Is that state? You said, or is that national?
State.
Okay.
Some states are already requiring it. It'll probably be something that will be.
Yeah. I'll be in Florida before then. So.
I hope to be in Arizona. So.
Oh boy.
What's wrong with Arizona?
Nothing. I like Arizona.
It's
My
dry.
family there.
You don't have family there.
I do.
Do they see you as family? Do they acknowledge you as family?
Yeah, I hope so.
Your sisters?
No, actually, my aunt and my aunt lives out there, and I have friends out there that I've just from. It's very close to Las Vegas.
Friends from Hollywood.
No, but like, here's vague. No, but it's very close, and I've worked a lot in Arizona, and have friends that have moved there, and I know a lot of people out. I got people. I got people all over the place. You don't know about me. You don't know about me.
I don't. I know you're dirty.
We're cutting that part out.
ODD. What? That's not even bad. I didn't say
Oh man. So there's no other aspirations with the BSN. You said you're looking, you're googling, you're goggling for
in my sight.
I
thought about nurse practitioner.
But once you would get the BSN, if you were maybe nurse practitioner, not your role, not your lane, any other avenues that you're looking to go with that? Or you're just kind of...
Well, I don't want anybody stealing my ideas.
Oh, I don't know anybody who would do that. No.
No, me neither.
But would you add it to... So you just kind of want to end your repertoire or your letters behind your name just to kind of make yourself more marketable. Is that what you're saying? I'm just going to go ahead and answer the question for you.
Well, you can't really move up. Like right now I'm here. I'm stagnant.
Correct.
So, I mean, in order to move up, I'm just going to have to keep going to school.
Okay.
To better myself if I choose to go up higher. But, I mean, would I do, I don't know. NP seems fun, but, you got to do things that you might not want to do. Like, I don't have to do rectal exams with a nurse. Or, like, looking areas.
Yes, that's true. We do have to.
We have to just stand there and be like, ooh, sorry that you have to do that.
Yeah. That's not all the time, though.
So,
it's
there
at
are
moments.
some days where I'm like,
true.
What is going on?
But we have some days where we're knee-deep with code browns and...
That's a whole... Yeah. That's a little easier than, Vaseline. Like, some of that stuff is just like, I didn't sign up for that.
You can't pay me enough to do that. I agree.
But you'd have to do it as part of the schooling.
Yeah.
And I think the ER's, ER is great just for the diversity of all the things that come in that door. Some things I don't want to see.
That's true.
I don't want to open the door. I
there's
really don't want to open the door. So, I don't know. It's hard, you get to a point where you either teach, with masters or...
Right.
Or you do family practice.
Okay. Yeah, so there are some options with that. You're still talking about the nurse practitioner, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, even a master's, you don't have to necessarily be a nurse practitioner to teach.
Correct.
Clinicals and that stuff.
Correct.
Which I think, would teaching be fun? And I was like, I hated being a nursing student.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that it's over with. I'm grateful that...
and real life is not like nursing school. It's so bizarre.
Yes, very true. Yeah, I look back at the... it just... Even the tests that we used to take in nursing school compared to the common knowledge, I go, why would they ask us those questions? They want us to critically think.
They want you to trip up.
But it'd be like, this has nothing to do with anything. Why are you asking me this question? Like,
Right.
This doesn't make any sense to me. Well, we want you to critically think. We want you to... I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Which I get, because I would get so wrapped up in some of those questions that I would be like just overthinking. Like, everybody has cancer or aneurysm, and instead it's like, why don't you just check the pulse ox to see if it's plugged in? You know what I mean? Like, something so stupid. I'm like, why was I not thinking? Like, be simple. Get basic with some of that stuff. It's hard.
Right.
But even now I'm like, all right, basic. Something's going off. Let's look at the tubes. Let's look at the wires before I go assuming that, call a code.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, check a pulse. Damn it, I forgot the part. Like, oh, you're still talking to me. It's so weird. Sorry about that. Like, no.
Oh.
So that's keeping it
good.
simple.
That's good.
Basic.
So what about other areas of your life? Do you have any other goals for the other areas of your life?
Not fuck up my daughter.
Can we say that again?
No.
In a little.
That's what.
What are
my
some
daughter's doing very well. So want to make sure I'm co-parenting to the best that we can, which we've been doing good.
So what are some of the things that you're teaching your daughter that maybe you weren't taught as a young person? That
Well, we didn't have social media.
right,
That's a whole nother.
right.
Like my parents weren't worried about me getting picked on social, like, or bullied and everything. Like that really wasn't.
You still could get bullied.
Yeah, but I was too cool for that. That wasn't really a problem.
I didn't have to worry about that.
But yeah, social media. You know, people are cruel as all get out. People are mean, and I just can't. I just keep telling her like, don't be that mean person. And if someone says something mean to you, just be like, just let it go. Don't like try to go back and forth and who can be the meanest.
Yeah.
And make someone feel the worst. Like
I find that with social media, I find, you know, and I kind of relate talking crap to people like through social media and, you know, being able to text message or send them a whatever, a post that's kind of cruel, or like trolls or do these things onto different people. It's kind of like, you know, when someone would cut you off in your car, like while you're driving, you will call that person all kinds of names and you'll give them the dirtiest looks and hand gestures. And it's like that. But like if you weren't in your cars and you were just kind of like out walking around, or something like that happened, and, you know, you might say something to the person, but you'd be like, I'm sorry, sir, excuse me. But, you know, I find that, you know, I you know, but that's what I kind of related to. Like when you're in your car, you're in that comfort zone where they can't really hear you, they can't really see you, they can't.
Seeing you is the part.
Yeah, and even if they see you and you're kind of like giving a nasty look, like nothing ever really happens for the most part. And if it does, then you have problems. But you know, but it's kind of, you're still kind of protected, you know, from what you can say whatever you want to say, but you have that barrier that basically protects you. I find that social media has just kind of blown that out of proportion to where anybody can do that. So people are uncomfortable. Like I can send a person this, and, you know, they're not sending from me where they can, you know, where if I said that to your face, more than likely you're going to get punched in the face.
Right.
I find that with social media, people are able to do that and you know, just throw fiery darts at others. There's no consequences. It's kind of like being in the car. Yeah. I
don't like it.
No, and you're right. We didn't have to worry about that as.
And that's I mean, you look how many people are taking their life over this stuff, and it's like, that's just crazy to me.
I think people need to get punched more in the face.
Oh my God.
For their comments, you know, like instead of like a like button or a thumbs up or like a you know, I think a punch.
Like something comes through their screen
and just punches them in the face. As soon as they hit enter, they're like, "You suck." Enter, and then a fist comes out and punches them in the face. Like, and that's what would happen to you in the real world if you said that to somebody's face.
So, enjoy your Twinkies.
Yeah.
I think I just want a Twinkie.
Well, I think there's pizza here, so.
No.
All right, let's wrap this up.
I'm not eating your pizza.
Yeah, please. You don't,
I made HelloFresh. And HelloFresh screwed up and gave me 8 meals in a week, and I've been cooking nonstop.
Wow.
And I'm not happy about it. It's a lot of onions, a lot of crying.
Oh.
A lot of food I wouldn't even eat. Kale soup. I was like, oh, kale, no. I would never order that shit. Kale soup? Blech.
So you didn't make it?
I made it, Jeremy. He don't care. He's like, I'll eat anything. He always says he's a garbage disposal.
That's true.
He'll eat anything. He'll try anything. He don't care.
I'm all about that.
So he's like, what? You made it? I'll eat it.
Yeah.
So he has like tons of food right now to eat.
So they doubled your order accidentally?
So somehow they made 2 accounts under my name. So they sent me like a box with 2, but then they said the box was damaged and I wasn't going to get it.
And you got it anyway.
And I got it anyways.
Nice.
And then they sent me 2 boxes with 3 meals in each, like 2 days apart. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do?
That is kind of one of the nice things about, you know, these ordering from home. It's, you know, if they screw up, it's to your benefit. Someone else I was talking to recently, they got exercise bike sent to their house by Amazon. Amazon sent them like a $400 exercise bike that they don't know how they got it. They don't know who it was supposed to be for. It was in their name. And they called Amazon and they were like, hey, I didn't order this. And they're like, well, we don't have any record of it. Or something to that effect.
So they weren't even charged for it?
They weren't charged for it. They didn't want it back.
Well, the COVID stuff, they don't take anything back anymore.
True. But it's just like, why would it happen to me, you know?
Nothing like that ever happens to me. No one's ever like, oh, here's a bunch of money.
Yeah, I don't think they send money, though, like that anymore. Yeah.
Oh no, there's people like old people still do.
Old people still send money?
Yeah, because like Violet's grandma sent just a couple bucks for Valentine's Day, and I'm like, stop sending cash in the mail. Please stop.
Oh, was it inside a card?
That doesn't matter.
True.
In this day and age, people just don't care.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't send cash. Just come to me and give it to me. I'll make sure she gets it.
Just send it in the gift card in my name. I'll make sure she
promise.
gets it. What is she going to buy with it?
Starbucks.
Cool.
Love it.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Okay, how do I wrap it up?
Okay. So we'll just go ahead and continue. So we're going to say, is there anything else you want to say? No?
No, I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
I'm good.
I think we're good. I think we got to, I want to try to keep it down. So we got a lot of time that we can cut out. Well, thank you very
Why would you want to cut all that good stuff out of me?
No, this is good stuff. I can chop it up.
I'm sure you can. Super glad we did it.
All right.
You better invite me again.
We will have you back.
Now that we have everything figured out on the tech side.
Yes.
It's all figured out. So
it took a while.
A little bit.
All right,
we're not happy.
We're gonna wrap it up. I'll be quiet.
So
once again, I want to thank Jenn Frank for being my first interviewee on the Fill in the Blank podcast. I had a great conversation with you. It was wonderful to have a chat.
So fun.
I appreciate your openness and your willingness to have a conversation in this format. We're hoping to have some more chats with you in the future. But thank you very much. I appreciate your insight. If anybody else is out there that wants to be a part of the show, if you're interested in asking any questions, you can send me an email at fillintheblankpodcast@gmail.com. You can drop me a line on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Of course, I have my own page. It's Fill in the Blank Podcast. Check it out. And I'm open to talk about anything that you want to share. If you want to be inspired, if you have some inspirational stories that you want to share, if you have anything motivating that you want to talk about, or just to have a good conversation in general, any stories that you feel like you want to throw at me, I am ready to rock and roll, and we're going to keep this running. So thank you very much for joining us once again. I appreciate all the support that we've had thus far in this journey. There's a lot more that's going to come across the table, a lot more that we're going to be putting together that's going to be very inspiring, very motivating, and just some good stories all around. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much again. Perfect. And that's a wrap.